All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So, people are like, yeah, the AI trade is turning over. Everyone's like, oh, gee, Mark, you said it was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. How did you know? I mean, I don't know. I just look at the charts, and it's probably going to go a little bit lower. Actually, it could go a pretty decent amount lower. So, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. No one does, but the charts do. And if we look at the charts for the prism of supply and demand, they're going to tell us not perfectly, but they're going to put the odds in our favor. Okay, Wall Street is not about being perfect. Trading is not about being perfect. But let's just take a look and see what the S&P did today. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up first. Now the S&P is 11 different sectors, and different sectors are in the driver's seat at different times. So the S&P had a fairly decent day. Okay, but it's kind of breaking this uptrend here. Right now, I'm going to just show you this website, the S&P 500 fact sheet, and I'm going to show you the holdings, and this is going to show you the sectors. So we got tech, financials, healthcare, different ones, different sectors are in the driver's seat at different times. And now it's really all about technology. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's healthcare, but now or last month or so, it's about tech. So the first thing we're going to look at is the ETF that tracks the technology sector. Now, look at this important price level here. Markets are about what levels are important and which ones aren't. Certain price levels are important, and that's just how it is. Sometimes we know why, sometimes we don't. Most of the time, we don't know why. But for some reason, this price level down around here, around 205.50, has been important for the technology sector. It was resistance here, then it became resistance again, then it became support. Sometimes when things are resistance, they come and become support because people that sold think they made a good decision when the price goes lower. But then eventually it goes higher, and a lot of them are like, I made a mistake. I'm going to buy this thing back if I can buy it back at the same price I sold it at. So if it rallies higher and then reverses and comes back to the level that was resistance, if you have enough of these remorseful sellers placing buy orders, the level that was resistance converts into support. You can see it on charts of pretty much anything. A chart is just a graphical illustration of psychology. All right, look at this. Support becomes resistance, support becomes resistance. Over here, you have resistance becomes support. Same ETF. Just looking at the long term picture. So now let me go back to that short term picture. And it got down to this price level that has been important today. And it rallied off of it. Now, I think we're going to break and go lower. And I'll tell you why. This stuff just looks weak. And you know what? Think about this. Okay. Let's just take a look at this trend line. Or, well, the first of the month, the tech sector ETF was at 211. Now it's at 205 or 207. So it is going lower. It's not a massive sell off. Notice these lower highs here. The trend is definitely going lower. So let's take a look at Microsoft, which is still the biggest stock. I know Nvidia gets all of the attention these days. And Microsoft, the action has been really choppy, very choppy. Notice how we had these smooth kind of trends up, down, and all of a sudden just kind of gone off the rails. This action tends to be bearish. I'm not saying the market's going to crash tomorrow or anything or like that, but I think we're definitely going lower. Well, I shouldn't say definitely. I think we're going lower. I'm positioned to go lower. And even if you're someone who's like, all right, well, you know what? I think the market's going lower too, but I'm not a sophisticated options trader or a futures trader. Well, there are inverse ETFs you can buy. That's one of the things we talk all about all the time in my classes. So anyway, here's Apple. Eh, not too much going on there. I will say though, Nvidia, drum roll, because I know everyone wants to hear about Nvidia, the stock du jour. I think this action still looks weak, and I've been talking about this. I said Nvidia was weak on Friday the 8th. And everybody's like, blah, blah, blah. NVIDIA this. Oh, they got so much AI this, AI that. I don't really care. I don't care how much AI you have. Okay, I'm a trader. Traders look at markets. Okay, you could have the greatest product in the history of mankind, and maybe Nvidia does. I don't know. I'm not that smart. But I'll tell you what, if everyone who wants to buy Nvidia and their Aunt Mary who wants to buy Nvidia too buys it, guess what? It's not going higher. It can only go lower. When a market runs out of buyers, it can't go higher. It just can't. That's how markets work. I don't care about the product. I don't care about the valuation. I'm a trader. Short-term trends, supply and demand. That's how I made my living for all these years. And now I try to make my living teaching people like you all, kind of trying to get a more little traction here, but I don't know. I just hate charging people money for stuff that to me seems so self-evident. But you know what? I got to pay the bills at some point. But anyway, no kidding aside. I mean, just like check this out, right? So you see how the buyers have kind of hung out down around here around 865. But as time is going by here, the sellers are getting more aggressive. You can see this with the lower highs. This just means that sellers are getting anxious. They're willing to accept lower prices. The buyers are hanging out and they're chill and they're complacent. Sellers are getting more aggressive. Aggressive sellers, complacent buyers sets the stage for a move lower in any market, whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it. This is becoming your classic descending triangle pattern. And let me just point out a couple more before I get going that we saw in the market not too long ago. Or I should say they're kind of an ongoing thing. Here's the descending triangle pattern in Boeing, which played out really well. I know a lot of y'all who follow me printed some stimmies on this bad boy. All right, and let's just go back to Apple before I get going. There was a descending triangle pattern in Apple up here, which also kind of gave us some insight. Market was going lower. Remember, it's not the pattern. It's not tea leaves. It's, hey, buyers are chill. They're willing to stay here. Hey, sellers are aggressive. Lower highs. As time is going by, sellers are more aggressive. Aggressive sellers, complacent buyers, sets the stage for a move lower. That's what the descending triangle pattern illustrates. All right, everybody. I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Yeah, check back in tomorrow because there's a lot to cover, and I'll see you then.